Hello, my name's Michael Possimani, and I'm a uh, data forensics uh, initial response, cybercrime detective, um, if you like. But basically, I look for the bad guys who are taking your information and profiteering from it. And so I look at criminal artifacts on hard drives, over networks, now increasingly the cloud. So hackers are saying, why don't we do things online? Because basically there's no server. Like, I can't go to Google and say, excuse me, I want to plug my thumb drive into your mainframe so I can get some information. Because it's all in the cloud, and well, it's not in your hard drive at home. But for the most part, a lot of crime um, can be found on your PC. There's a data uh, footprint trail left there. Maybe an ex-employee has decided to make off with your clientele database, so they have information on them, potential contracts coming up. Maybe they left you a keylogger app on your computer whereby they have access to keystrokes from your company. They've left their email embedded into your system that's encrypted and password protected, and they have access to emails. They know what deals are going down, and maybe you're wondering how come that startup business that's doing what we're doing is doing really so well, and they're taking a lot of business from us. Well, you've got to have to look at where that information is originated from and who may be involved in divulging that information, stealing. So that's where I can come in and image your hard drive so that I take it home and I have a working copy, and I will sift through all of the information there to find out what sort of illegal activity was happening. I can look in the, interesting enough, the deleted file section, and I can find out when a thumb drive, a USB disk, was inserted into the computer and what was downloaded to that thumb drive and what was taken. And usually that leads to a IP address because that thumb drive has a serial number. And that serial number will show up in a computer in your company. And we know that who the computer workstation belongs to. Uh, we just got to find out if that person had logged in at that time, and usually uh, they had a password. So sometimes live forensics has to be done so I can find out passwords. All of this is done quite covertly, of course. We don't want to alarm the hacker or the disgruntled employee. So I can find that information, and yeah, you have to have uh, company policies regarding what handheld devices can be brought to work, whether they can be inserted, or whether your policy is they use their own handheld devices. In that case, we have to know these things because I just can't go rummaging around to people's hard drives, especially when the device belongs to them. Uh, so you got to have a clear company policy as to uh, what the protocols are around bringing in outside handheld devices to hook up to your network, your internet, etc. So, so a hacker is a common thief. They don't necessarily have any coding abilities. Many of them probably have never registered in a computer science class. But what they do have is a criminal mind, criminal intent. So, how do they get the information about you? Because you handed it over to social media. And so, um, not about to tell you how, give you ideas as to how easy it is to hack into somebody's bank account, but it's usually psychological. Okay, and it begins with you. The information that you volunteer to social groups, well, they're on those social groups too. And the best way to find a terrorist is to register on a terrorist site. And so it is with getting access to your information. And so you have to be careful. You got to find, with every click, you've got to ask yourself, where would this lead me? And social media aren't really, they're not really looking out for your interests. They're making it a lot easier for hackers, uh, just removing obstacles from their paths, making it kosher and easier for them to obtain your personal information. They'll say, why don't you put all your bundle all your information together, all in one place? Save you um, going here, low there. So a hacker will go, wow, thank you very much for making my life easy. Because in one place they can obtain, well, you give up, your name, your dog's name, uh, your neighbor's dog's name, your wife. They know your company truth. They know where you live. They can most likely get your email from another site. They'll get your birth date on Facebook because everybody's wishing you happy birthday to you. And so they've got a date, they've got a place, they've got an email, and the rest is too easy. That's all. Begins with you. I'm single again, and I was at a singles dance, and I have a goal that I'm going to ask for a phone number before I leave tonight. And so last night was just a typical night, and there was somebody I struck up a brief conversation with. I said, I'd love to have your phone number, but it was like, resolute. I don't give out phone numbers. Well, with face recognition coming in now, her phone number will be online. It's online. It's amazing how people will say, no, no way am I going to get her phone number, but we'll give it up for less. We'll sell our birthright for a meal of pottage, borrowing from the Old Testament. So there's a promotion online that if you return to, let's say, Burger King, and you bring this coupon or the code verification number, you get a free small fries. But in return for that, we want your Facebook account and all your friends on it, information. I'm sure you've seen that a number of times. So we give it up for a small drink, a Twinkie. And so these hackers, armed with this pool of information courteous of your social media networks. Now I've built a profile about you. Okay? And with that bundled information, uh, they can easily pass you off as you, pass them off as you. And so they will just accumulate and accumulate more information that there's no doubt. I mean, you've clicked on people who said, add me, for the umpteenth time. Yeah. I believe I got a lot of schizophrenic friends because on Facebook, they keep asking me to add them. I've already added them. They're already in my Facebook account, but they want me to. I'm thinking, which parts of split personality is this? Do they want me to add? Is this the feminine side that they want me to add now? Um, so I think Facebook had to devalue its its market value because they began to realize that a third of its membership was schizophrenic. Talking to the same person here. So hackers aren't particularly intelligent, but they are moving towards the cloud now because it leaves less of a data footprint. Uh, Unless you work for an institution like the U.S. government, where they hire ethical hackers. What do they call them? Penetration testers. If you haven't heard of the Stuxnet program, whereby they made a program to attack Iran's nuclear enrichment program. So they dropped all these thumbnails around the facility in Tehran, or somebody on the inside must have done that at a lunch break. So you work in the facility and you pick up a USB drive, and what do you do? Exactly. So they plug it into their computer, and eventually that malware found its way to the computer. That malware was designed to attack one computer on the other side of the world and disrupt the nuclear enrichment program. What it did was it just took over the app to the centrifuge to enrich uranium, and turned it into overdrive until thousands of centrifuges were destroyed. Um, I mean, the wheels came off, and the thing was jumping around the place, and they effectively shut down the enrichment program, put it back half a dozen years, which is better than what Israel did to fly over there in the hidden in plain sight and just drop bombs on it. So it's better PR. Eventually, that worm malware found itself back to knocking on the door of the U.S. Defense Department, but they were ready and they were able to. They knew, there's going to be a return to sender RSVP. So if you're a hacker, they have the mind of a common thief, and they will sit in the dark side of the net and high fiving one another and looking for those portals of errors. As a software developer, I know that, uh, as Bill Gates said, there's no computer program without a bug. Now that makes for a very good sales pitch because it licenses Microsoft to deliver a faulty product. For every 2,500 lines of code, there's one innocent kind of error. Um, but when you got 47 million lines of code to run your operating system, you divide that by 2,500. That's a lot of errors. It's a lot of loopholes, portals for criminals to get in there and zero out your bank account. But they're not intelligent too. to get in that way. As I said, unless you work for a government. Well, so to catch the thief, I can do it. Uh, I have the tools, the ability to find criminal activity on your computer, now increasingly becoming um, handheld devices or over the internet, over the cloud, and I can follow the breadcrumbs and bring you justice. So don't hesitate to give me a call, contact me. I'd love to come and talk to your company about how you, and it starts with you and your employees, how you can become um, a firewall. It's no use having all this virus protection and firewalls when you click indiscriminately around on the internet. Remember, with every click, ask yourself, where would this lead me? And unfortunately, the downside would be impoverished. Not only that, dragging along also your friends and family into the fray. So I'd love to do business with you. I hope that's helped you somewhat. So thank you for listening.